Exactly so.
You found one?
Yes. Here on my island, I hunt the most dangerous game.
Most dangerous game?
Most dangerous game? What could it be?
The game I am hunting is all of you.
We are going to hunt you cricket.
What happens if I get caught?
Ooh, don't get caught. Don't get caught. Well, there he goes.
Hunt men? You raving maniac.
Well, conventional wisdom says good fleeing will always beat good chasing. But the stats say put your money on the guy with the gun.
And the hunt begins.
Indeed, indeed. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Most Dangerous Podcast, a show about all the different incarnations of the most dangerous game. I'm Travis Fishburne.
Hi, I'm Alex Brunel.
Hi, I'm Dustin Meadows.
And this week we are going to be covering the 2022, classic dangerous game, The Legacy Murders, starring Jon Voight, Oscar winner Jon Voight, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, and William Charles Sasso.
Thank you for using the gentleman's full name.
Yeah.
Billy Sass.
Mad TV's William James Sasso is incredibly the strongest performer in this movie by like miles.
Miles very surprising.
Like he managed to tap into like genuine human stuff occasionally, and I was really impressed in this context. But
yeah, who saw it coming?
Yeah.
Maybe he was just waiting for his turn. He's like, this is it. No, I gotta have people take me seriously.
Like the stakes are low enough. I have enough screen time. I think I can give it a shot this time.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Good
did.
for him. Oh, this one was my suggestion because I randomly saw it existed on Paramount Plus.
Yes, it was.
So, I'll do the little synopsis before we dive into it. Basically, so a family reunion at a remote mansion takes a lethal turn when they are trapped inside and forced to play a deadly survival game where only one will make it out alive. It's dangerous game really in name only. There's not really any shades of the most dangerous game in this movie aside from just like collecting people in one place, and this place happens to be on an island. I do feel that like a locked down mansion on an isolated island is like a hat on a hat, but that's beside the point. It really sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, we do get that brief moment where the butler is shooting at them.
Yes.
Yeah,
so we do get that.
That's probably about the closest elements of Most Dangerous Game that we really
There
get.
are hounds as well.
There are
yes,
like
there are
when
dogs.
Everything is revealed. Like he does say, like there can only be like one left, and you're like forced to play along. And I think
so shades.
They're shades. Yes.
Yeah.
Shades and echoes.
Yes. The
Otherwise, it's
suggestion
just
of a Most Dangerous Game.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just Saw plus Ready or Not. That's all it is.
100%. Yeah.
And
like
it also amazed me that like a Saw knockoff that was like this blatant of a Saw knockoff came out 18 years following the release of Saw.
Well, they were really ready for like, oh, Spiral's coming, and everyone's going to be excited, and we got to make something to compete with that. And
yeah, because this was what 2-3 years after Spiral, I want to say.
It'd have been 1 year after Spiral.
Was Spiral 21?
Yeah, pretty sure.
It's 20 or I think it was 20.
21. It's 21.
Was it 21? Wow.
It
Okay.
was 21.
I definitely remember seeing it at the drive-in when it came out.
It was
when
like
we weren't
May
going
21.
back to movies, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Why did that movie come out in May? Who made that jackass?
Yeah, because they were always Halloween films.
If it's Halloween, it must be Saw. That's the tagline. It's the same tagline for every Saw movie. The movie markets itself until it stops making money. It's great.
Yeah. God. Oh, I saw that one as a double bill with I don't remember the name of it. It was a really bad like YA sci-fi movie with Chaos Walking. Thank you, wife. Chaos Walking with
I've never heard
Daisy
of that
Ridley
movie.
was in that, right?
Yeah, Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland released about 4 years too late to really cash in on their newness.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
that was also
I
a
had no idea
shelved
this movie
movie
existed.
because I think that it was something that would have been released 4 years prior.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it was shot like before Rise of Skywalker came out.
It for sure was.
But yeah, like Mads Mikkelsen, Demian Bashir, one of the Jonas Brothers. But yeah, it is
Yep.
bad.
That is wild. I saw every Saw movie in the theater until, well, the whole first 7. I saw it every time. And then by the time Spiral came out, I couldn't bring myself to go to the movies for that.
Yeah, I think I only ever saw the first 4 or 5 in the theaters.
I just made it a tradition. I just made it a thing that I did. You know?
I feel like I should have. I don't know why I stopped going to them.
Well, they weren't good.
No, but I mean, if I didn't go to the movies because they weren't good, I never would have gone to the movies half as much as I did in college.
That's fair. We all saw, I think the 3 of us saw Meet the Spartans together.
We
possibly.
absolutely did, and we
I did
physically
not.
restrained Mike Robinson when
No.
he tried to
Oh,
leave.
Travis, you weren't
I
there?
did not go.
Okay. You lucked out on that one.
Yeah. And I've
But yeah.
also only seen the first Saw movie.
The first one is the only legit good one
Mhm.
aside from the most recent one.
Yeah.
2 has its moments, more than its fair share of moments, although I don't think you can really call it good. But I will say 6 is my favorite of the sequels because that's the only one where it tried to do any kind of like social commentary. Like it Saw 6, the evils of the American healthcare system.
Yes.
And it just came so out of left field after 5 movies about just like a guy judging people, and now it's like a judgment on the system, and that's just funny to me.
Yeah.
So this movie, sorry, go Dustin.
I was gonna say, well, and the best part of 6 is, I believe that's the Saw where we get hip young John Kramer in a hoodie and backwards ball cap.
I think that is correct. And I can't remember which one is the one where the studio like tricked Donnie Wahlberg into coming back just to like get his head smashed between 2 stones, like in the first scene.
That would have been 3.
Was it? I thought Donnie lasted longer than that.
No, because 2 is the one that he gets captured in. He gets killed in the same one that Jigsaw gets killed in, which is 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, spoiler alert for a 20-plus-year-old movie,
no.
everyone.
I can't imagine that anyone that's listening to this podcast that is interested in seeing the Saw movies hasn't seen them. That'd be
That's
like
fair.
a really specific slice of the pie. But if you're
They
that
haven't.
person, yeah, I guess we're sorry.
They haven't seen Saw.
So yeah, this movie is much more like Saw and Ready or Not. Not really Knives Out.
Yeah,
But
like
just-
setting-wise, and like
Yeah.
kind of the
It's like
what
a
sets the plot in
family
motion a
of
little bit.
rich assholes to a degree. I don't know.
So I don't know. What did you guys think?
Oh, I thought
I-
it was bad.
It was bad. But like when you like stack it up against the other 2022 The Most Dangerous Game adaptation, it's like so miles ahead in terms of just ideas and visuals and fun stuff that it
Yeah, like
actually
this
has
one's at
going
least
on.
like competently put together.
Yeah, it's bad, but it's not the worst thing that we've watched for the podcast. Although it is probably in the top 5 worst things we've watched for me.
That's fair. This is definitely bottom 5 in my preferred movies that we've watched during this run.
I think this is probably maybe the one that's had the most interesting ideas and mishmash of a premise that didn't really do any of them particularly well.
Yeah.
Like, it's very much like somebody was like, oh, hey, what if we threw in like elements of this and elements of that? It's like, okay, cool. Are we gonna make them good? No, but they're all in there, so that's something, right?
Yeah. And then there's stuff where like it tries to do like spoiler alert for this movie here on out, I guess, but it tries to like surprise you with things like the main character, the tutors, aka Jonathan Rhys Meyers.
Yeah,
Like,
Jonathan Rhys Meyers.
like the tutors dying at the end of Act 2 and not living till the end, I think the movie wanted us to be like surprised by, but the way it plays out, like it just kind of happens.
It does.
Yeah, there's no real like
There's
gravity
no tension.
to
Yeah.
that. Like he
And,
dies
like-
just like, oh, okay, was I supposed to feel something? Because I did,
Right.
because I never felt anything from the whole goddamn
He
movie.
almost just like dies off screen. Because he dies, there's this big, huge emotional moment for him, and then it's like the room got too hot. The next time we cut back to him, he's just a charred body.
Yeah. Hate it when the room gets
Uh,
too hot and I die.
I hate it when the room that I find myself locked in turns out to be a giant oven.
Yeah.
It's
It-
really inconvenient.
Like, oh my god, too, and the like, this is maybe the quickest like I've mentally checked out in one of these two, with the exception of the Casper Van Dien one.
Oh my god.
Because like 10 minutes in, I was like, okay, so Will Sasso's the person trying the hardest of the names in this movie. Oh boy.
I liked him. Like the scene where the tutors
was great.
dying and Sasso is like pleading and trying to connect with his brother to save his life.
Yeah,
I
like
believed Will Sasso in that moment.
Sasso was legit. Like, I was genuinely very impressed by like how well he could do dramatic acting.
Yeah.
It's like I was like, all right, I was not expecting this from Three Stooges, Will Sasso, but here we are.
I've always liked him. I watched.
Oh, same.
He was always so damn funny. He was always my favorite on the first 2 seasons of Mad TV.
Yeah, he's a funny dude. I think this is probably one of the only times, like, I've seen him do serious-ish stuff, but like never, like, it was always still usually within the framework of a comedy.
Right.
It's like he has a kind of a dramatic character in Entourage, but it's Entourage, so
Yeah.
but yeah, he was solid in this, and like, I like Jonathan Rhys Meyers. Like, he's a very solid actor, and oh boy,
Hey, he's not bad.
was he here for a paycheck?
Oh my god, yeah. Like, wow. This was just
Like-
like he just said words the whole movie. That's what he did.
Like, he was here for a paycheck the way the name actor in Asylum movies are there for the paycheck. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't think Jon Voight was particularly good in this, but I was like,
I
feel like
need
he
to
was at
rant
least-
about Jon Voight in this movie.
yeah, I feel like he was at least awake
Are you sure?
for
I
parts
think
of it.
There was one
Yeah.
part where I'm like, oh, did Jon Voight actually just die? And like what you were saying, Alex. But it looked like
I'm gonna say the joke I made to you guys. Oh no, go ahead, Dustin. You had. I don't.
Well,
wanna
I was
interrupt
gonna
you
say,
guys.
let me rephrase this.
Okay.
Not awake. I think he was present, but for a different movie.
Oh.
Ah. Okay. When did you think that moment was?
Oh, almost the entire time.
Oh, okay. So present, but like, oh, he's just acting in his own movie. He's just not paying attention to the tonality of what's happening around him. He's just
Yeah,
doing.
like he's just saying words, but like not within the context of what they're supposed to be.
I personally thought that, and I don't know if it was intentional, although it may have been. Like, I don't think Jon Voight's dumb. I just think he sucks.
Yes, he does suck.
I don't think he's unintelligent, but I do think he is stupid. But anyway, I kind of think he was like doing a Trump thing, quite personally.
That my wife said the same thing.
Oh.
Did
I
you
was like-
notice, like, even when he drank, he used 2 hobbly
Yeah.
hands to drink a
Which is
drink?
weird because he's a Trump guy.
Yeah.
Like, so I was very like, because there's only one other time that like I've really noticed it in a movie, and it was Color Out of Space. And there are parts where it feels like Nick Cage is kind of doing that, but it's like 99% of the time, I am at least on board with the choices he makes, and
Yeah.
and they usually work. But like that was one time where I was like, I know that this is a Nick Cage performance, so you know, anything goes. But oh boy, that is a choice that he made.
You've made a choice, sir.
Yeah,
Trev, did you? Sorry.
you said the thing when we were talking about it yesterday in the text thread about
Yeah.
not
What I
being
said is,
yeah.
I'm not sure you can convince me that I'm not watching Jon Voight's corpse in a wheelchair being voodoo magicked like Bernie in Weekend at Bernie's 2.
And all I could think of after you said that was Bob Gutton in Dead Silence.
Yeah. Dude, like, Jon Voight, this whole time, seriously, the most alive he looked to me the whole movie is when he was hanging from a noose at the very end. That's the only
Yes.
time he looked like an alive human being. The whole rest of the movie, if you would tell me that, like, oh yes, what we actually did is Jon Voight had just died, but we had permission from his family to remotely wheel him around in a chair and puppet his face, and we painted out the puppeteers and the strings and everything, and we AI'd his voice, but from the end of his life, when he could barely talk like a human being, it's like so deeply weird. You know what one of his other credits in his filmography that's close to this one is?
What's that?
Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis.
Oh.
Everyone's looking forward to that.
These are the movies that Jon Voight is doing. I'm just so perplexed. Like, has he not worked enough in his life to, like, retire with health insurance? Like, does he need to keep working to keep up the health insurance? Why is he going out of the house?
He's doing it to own the libs.
Yeah, that's probably fucking true.
I think he's in the Reagan movie that's coming out this year with Dennis
that would
Quaid.
not surprise me.
I know Kevin Sorbo is.
Shadowland?
No, it's called
just
Reagan.
called Reagan.
It's like
Yeah.
a biopic.
Oh, Reagan.
And
Okay.
Quaid is playing Ronald Reagan.
Oh yes, so he is. He's in another one called Shadowland, about haunted by relentless nightmares foretelling his untimely demise. Former President Robert Wainwright summons his past psychiatrist to his upstate residence, who discovers the threat may be more real than imagined. I'm not sure who he plays in this movie, but he is the biggest face on the poster.
When's he going to return to the Transformers franchise?
Robots?
Robots.
Did he say robots?
He
did say robots.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
remember very specifically going to Michigan and seeing it with Corey Close and laughing our asses off the 4 or 5 times he said robots.
Guys, do you know who else is in this Reagan movie? We also
The
got,
biopic?
Yeah,
I know Kevin
you-
Sorbo.
I see Sorbo. There's
Is
also
Ben Shapiro in there?
no, but there's Robert Davi, and there's Kevin Dillon,
Yeah.
and there's Mina
Oh.
Savari, and there's C. Thomas Howell.
Not Kevin Dillon.
Kevin Dillon.
Robert Davi doesn't surprise me because he's a known right-wing shitbag,
Yeah,
even if he is a fantastic goon.
I'm a little surprised that Mina Savari's gonna be hanging out with these people.
Man, I just
Maybe
found
I
out.
shouldn't be. I don't know anything about anybody.
Well, I just found out the other night. Apparently, Allison Lohman's an anti-vaxxer, so
Yep.
not much surprises me anymore. I'm glad
Yeah.
she got dragged to hell.
Yeah, because she's the one that's married to the
Neville Dean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got to share that nugget with my buddies after a double of Jennifer's Body and Dragged Me to Hell the other night.
Yeah, well, you know.
Dangerous Game.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what else was fun about? So yeah, I Jon Voight in this movie, and he's so nasty. He's so like, did he improvise his insults and stuff? Because he says some really nasty stuff in this movie.
I think they just let the camera roll, and they're like,
Yeah.
Voight, just speak your mind.
He was probably just swearing at minorities.
Probably.
Pretend
I'm gonna
that
scan
one
my
of
notes
these
to see if.
Pretend
Oh,
that
sorry,
one of
go
these
ahead.
kids is your actual daughter, and
I just kept referring to him as Corpse Chair through most of my notes.
and then at one point in your theory, Alex, they run out. The budget for trying to like replace his face runs out, and they have him just laying there, where he really does just looks like they're filming a dead body.
Yeah, he just lays sleeping. Like, definitely, like, Jon Voight was just like, I'll just be asleep. You guys do your work. I'll let you know if I need anything.
Yeah, shoot around
I'm just
me.
gonna sleep on this couch.
Madame Tussauds, Jon Voight.
Okay. I'm just gonna, like, there's so much weird stuff that happens in this movie that I actually have to go through my notes to remember it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember everyone dies, and I don't really remember a lot of the in-betweens, and that's about it.
Also, Riley from Letterkenny is in this movie. I've never seen him in anything else. He played Cam, the long blonde hair, the guy who dies in the suffocation room.
Ah, okay.
He's one of the doofy hockey players on Letterkenny. He's hilarious. I
Huh.
really liked him in this. Even though like he's totally misplaced and his character doesn't make any sense. Like he randomly like murders a cat for no reason,
Yeah.
right? Like that happens?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like it's like what purpose does this serve?
Yeah.
That was, yeah. During that sequence, my cat Luna was on my lap and she was like resting peacefully. But when that cat was making the horrible sounds of dying, she perked right up. Like, what the fuck's going on?
This was the writer trying to show us that he read Save the Cat and said, you know what? I don't think so.
I think not.
Nope, garbage disposal of the cat. That's my book.
Okay, right from the very beginning of the movie, can you guys name another movie that starts with a cold open like this? Like
No.
not even any production title, like no logos, nothing, just straight cold open.
No, I think I texted you this. Like, I legit thought it was a commercial or like a teaser for another show before the movie started. I did not realize it was the movie until like I heard the Saw voice that I recognized from the trailer.
Yeah.
But like it definitely, yeah. I was only kind of half paying attention because I assumed that it was a commercial.
I thought
I
it was
restarted
the movie
3 times because
Yeah.
I thought it started into the movie for some reason.
Yeah, I thought it was like glitchy and weird, and I'm like, something skipped.
Yeah, and then like they later explain. I think it's what, the aunt or something that gets killed in that opening
it was
scene. But like,
it was the missing sister.
but yeah, like it's, yeah, like I don't think I've ever seen like a more jarring introduction where it wasn't clear that the movie had started.
Yeah, like there's certain conventions that just like inherently signal to the audience the start of something. Like we kind of need these things.
Yeah.
You know, like even in network TV when like there's a cold open, the commercial fades out or the logo fades out, or something fades out and then cold open. Like we have been lulled into that.
Yeah,
that
like
cut.
this is just a hard cut right into what feels like we missed a minute or two beforehand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's early on Jon Voight calls someone a bloodsucker. I'm pretty sure he actually said butt sucker.
Oh.
I heard him say butt sucker.
You butt sucker.
Yeah.
Robot butt sucker.
What else? They just run around the house doing nothing. The Jigsaw voice. Like there's just literally a Jigsaw voice on a PA. Something that I actually thought was hilarious is like as soon as after we hear the Jigsaw voice for the first time, Jon Voight rolls out in his wheelchair. Just like he's
Yeah.
Jigsaw on his little tricycle.
Yeah, like that's also like at no point during this entire movie do any of us have any reason to think it's not Jon Voight.
Right. It's
Like-
obviously one person.
The closest thing
Working
to a
with another.
twist is like, oh, hey, it was the granddaughter, I guess.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's like, the other premise was he built his dream house, and they're showing up
Right.
to it, and it's like, this is your house that you built, and it's full of death traps.
Yeah, what the hell?
I'm old. What do you want from me?
Like-
I do need to point out that my wife Angela called that the teenage daughter was the real person in like as soon as she was antagonizing the whole family, like in the first 2 scenes that she was in. She's
Yeah.
like, it's her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because that's Ange watching movies. Sorry, Dustin. Please say your thing.
Oh no, I like literally I was gonna say, like I felt like there wasn't a whole lot to really establish that or even hint at that possibility. Except for that, I was like, yeah, but this whole family's assholes. Like,
Yeah.
so like it by that logic, about the only person it might not be is Will Sasso.
Yeah. He's the
It-
only
it-
person I didn't think it would be was Will Sasso.
Yeah, the only thing that final reveal was missing was the Hello Zep music from Saw.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
this would be a great drop for that Charlie Clouser. Get that money.
No, they could not afford that. They could not
No.
afford the actual song they wanted to put there. You could tell.
Yeah,
For sure.
I was half expecting a knockoff version of Hello Zep.
And like, yeah, just also with that, like the butler, Burnham, literally shows up twice to assault and assault family members and push them further into playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's never like as soon as this starts happening, the tutors starts looking for this butler and screaming his name, who's doing the whole thing, who's like, he's going after the guy who's actually pulling the strings because Jon Voight is in his corpse chair. But like, the movie just immediately goes to the person, and that doesn't change. It's who does
Yeah, like I don't think they understand how a whodunit works. They don't.
They don't
tell you who done it right off the rip.
There's some like some more insane shit. Okay, so they get the tutors into the oven room where they have kidnapped his, I guess, fiance. I don't know if the news was that they were getting married or that she was pregnant. They had
she was married. They were getting married because that was a weird thing that never got a payoff. Where she's like, they reveal the ring, and she's like, should we tell them about us? He's like, no. And she, like, the ring is not there for the rest of the movie, as to, like, keep it a secret. And it's like, but that never, why did they keep that? They wouldn't have to do that.
Because then when he finds her.
It's the parents getting divorced in Jurassic World all over again. No payoff.
When he finds her, he, like, weeps over her as if she, like, you had a baby taken. Anyway, the deal is she's still alive after having, like, her whole chest cavity seemingly
like being
broken
vivisected.
open. Yeah, vivisected, and had a dog whistle inserted into the tissue of her heart, and then sewn back up in a way that she was, like, still alive for, like, some hours until the tutors found her. And then he uses some of his precious time. Like, I understand he's in the process of going to have to, like, deal the final blow to the person he loves, but he, like, wastes time while he himself is burning alive to run around this weird oven medical lab to find. Also, it's weirdly well stocked as a medical lab for just also being an oven, as its seemingly primary intent. So he spends a lot of time finding painkillers so it doesn't hurt when he tears her heart open to get the dog whistle, when it seems to me to make much more sense to just cut her artery, stab her in the head, like something, like just put her out of her fucking misery.
I think he was under the impression,
dig out that key.
I think he was under the impression he wasn't gonna have to, like, kill her. I thought he was like, it might just be, like, right under the epidermis, and I can.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how she was alive when he found her.
Then,
how do you get the key in there?
After he finds the key, he's, like, dangling it over her head, like, look, I found it. Like, she's even processing anything.
God, the worst game of Operation ever.
What I wrote in my notes was, Jigsaw says to search deep in his heart for the key to escaping, so he has to rip the key out of the woman he loves. Ha 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 ha. Saw. It was a pretty gross scene. Like, I will give them points for, like, the gore effects in this scene. That was a pretty, like, brutal scene just in terms of torturous gore.
Oh yeah. Well, like, once he pulls everything out, he just leaves the organs sitting out.
He just plops them right back on her.
I was like, well, now she's definitely gonna die if you don't put her back in, because they're not supposed to be out.
Here.
Liver alone.
So the liver cooked. You could have had the liver as a separate little snack before dying, maybe.
Liver and some fava beans, get in it.
So, like, they're descendants of H.H. Holmes. That's weird.
Yeah, that was a whole. I was like, this feels unnecessary.
That's a whole weird thing. I mean, I don't know. What else? Is there any other weirdness you guys remember specifically?
I mean, the whole damn movie.
Yeah, it's
aside
all
from the
really
whole
weird.
Damn movie.
And then as soon as they, like, they wheel out, like, the game that they're gonna play, and before it's even revealed, there's, like, this package, and they get a suitcase out, and I'm like, oh, is it gonna have, like, Jumanji in it? And then when they open it, I'm like, oh, there is a board game inside. All right, it is like Jumanji.
Yep.
Murder Jumanji.
Well, then, like, the puzzles seemed pointless.
Utterly.
It's like the whole board game. I was like, what's the point of playing this board game if everyone's supposed to be, like, murdering each other or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Totally. And also, the person who put the whole game together knew exactly how each person was going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is also kind of insane. Like that's like Joker and Dark Knight level of like there you could not possibly have anticipated this.
We
Right.
know for sure that Will Sasso is going to throw Jon Voight over the the banister with hanging him.
Yeah,
That was great.
like,
I did love that sequence.
Yeah,
that was
it
a
was-
great sequence.
It was awesome, but
yeah.
it
Like,
was
I would have thrown his ass in the
very.
fire. I'm not dragging him up them steps.
Oh yeah, exactly. This is a very long, involved, like seemed to be one of those murders of passion, which usually
Yeah.
is like you're like banging somebody. I've never murdered anybody, unintentionally, but like you would imagine it. You don't go through the process of like, all right, I'm wrapping this around you. I'm going to drag your body up the stairs, and I'm gonna like tie it on each. It's this whole.
Yeah.
Long,
Like
it
he's
seemed
old. He could have just
premeditated.
strangled his ass on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he needed to see him hanging from the noose.
I needed to earn that rope
Needed
piece.
I did forget about actually what was the weirdest scene in the movie to me. Actually, when the tutors almost comes to blows with Corpse Chair, and Corpse Chair presses this button to raise him up to
Yeah.
like standing height,
Yeah.
and they're like strangling each other, kind of, and like a little bit just like being rough with each other, and then it seems like Corpse Chair is like trying to bite his son. He's like just going with his creepy old man veneers, and then they break apart and he like rips a wire
That's
out of his chair,
I
right? He
had
just
to
like rips a live
rewind
electric
it
wire.
to try to figure out what was going
Yeah.
on.
We
I'm
watched it
this
3
is
times.
Not, yeah, it's not communicated very well. What?
Yeah,
he's
I was
doing.
I was like, wait, how did they get from that to that?
Right, like I was like, is there like a secret taser he has? Is there like a
Yeah.
weapon built into the chair? Like, no, it seemed like he just pulled out a live wire from the chair, tried to use it to electrocute the tutors, which didn't work, grazed his face
Yeah.
to burn it,
He
and
Palpatined
blind him in
himself.
one eye.
Yeah.
Huh?
He Palpatined himself.
Yeah.
He Palpatined himself before letting it fall on the chair, therefore just like electrocuting his whole self, and then slumping onto the ground, still not dead.
Yeah. Seemed that whole thing seemed very pointless.
We were baffled. It's baffling. It's a great scene to watch, but it's like the exploding basketball or exploding head basketball scene in Deadly Friend.
Deadly Friend, yeah.
Where that moment is literally the only thing worthwhile in that whole movie, aside from parts of the score.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so, yeah. This movie is puzzling.
That was weird. I also really enjoyed, even though it was also a puzzling thing that I had to rewind, is when Will Sasso gets blown into the coffee table,
Yep.
Yeah.
which was great. It was entertaining,
Yeah.
but I'm like, wait, how did this happen? What? Okay.
Because he
there's
charges
some
into
kind of
an open door that's
Yeah.
like the secret control room for the house, which is just over there.
Mhm.
And
Where
there's
else
a
would you
ransom.
keep it?
Right. There's just a ransom note on the front of it that says, "Don't go in." Which, does he like tear down and laugh at, or does he just laugh at and open the door and walk past? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
But then like Jigsaw says he warned him, and he steps on a pressure pad, and then just like he's exploded and propelled an unreasonable distance
It's
through the living room.
like Looney Tunes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and somehow only his foot is injured.
Well, I think like the pressure plate maybe like did just like a little explosion pop that just blew off his heel.
But that's like would have to like that's such a precise. 'Cause, like if
Oh,
there's
I know.
explosives at all, it's like, what was there like a pinch of explosive in there? Like
Yeah, it makes as much sense as the fucking wire.
yeah, no, yeah, it's dumb.
I'm
dumb,
also
dumb.
not sure how the teenage girl popped out Will Sasso's eyes at the end. I liked it, but I'm not sure how physically that
I
happened.
rewound
Yeah.
that, and I'm like, the eye pops out for no reason.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she stabbed him in the side behind him, but I was like,
Stabbed him in the temples, which is a
Yeah,
great
the
move.
Yeah, but I was like, but I don't think you're popping eyes out from back there. That's not how it works.
There's another thing in here that I remember, like the fiance thing, that was they were laying some track that had no payoff, and that's Will Sasso's wife in the bathtub is like seems to be texting somebody in secret because she like hides the phone, and I'm just now realizing like, what was that about?
Maybe it was them trying to set her up as a red herring, but not knowing how red herrings are supposed to work.
Yeah, like these things that now that we're talking about them, they do feel like they're supposed to be red herrings, but they're just so ill-considered and ill-implemented that they're just like dumb shit that people do and then don't come up again.
Yeah, like right from the rip with the cat.
Right, like so. Okay, let's describe that scene real quick. That's Riley from Letterkenny, the dumbass hockey player from Letterkenny, goes by himself to the kitchen. For why? Just because he's wandering, I think?
I think so, yeah. I think he's just walking around the house checking it out.
There's a cat in there and also parts of fish.
Yes.
Just laying around that the cat was not already eating. And then he gets like a malicious grin on his face, tosses a fish head into the sink where there's a garbage disposal. The cat goes for it. He leaves the room. I'm not sure how the garbage disposal got turned on unless he...
yeah, that's the other thing, too. So it's either he killed this cat for no reason, or somebody else killed this cat for no reason, but then we never find out who killed the cat for no reason?
Yeah. The cat just was like... And it was like, it was not a good effect, but it did keep cutting back to like a bloody cat corpse in a way that I did not love because I don't understand why movies continue to be so fucking anti-cat.
Well, also, like, again, like, it'd be one thing if they at least, like, paid it off or was like, oh, it was this person. Clearly, like, you know, there's something wrong. It was like, just, no, we brutally murdered a cat for no reason, and you don't even get to know who actually did it.
Yeah, that happens in this movie.
You could have
Also,
easily
like,
had him be like, it clearly seemed like it was him, like a red herring, but it ended up being the, you know, the daughter. But yeah, there was none of that.
Yeah, confounding, this movie.
When did Roseanne get fired from Roseanne?
Probably
6 years ago, I want to say.
Oh, interesting.
Pre-COVID, I know that much.
Okay, so I'm just looking at this director's filmography. The director's name is Sean McNamara. By the way, this director shares a name with the main character of the show, Nip Tuck, played by Dylan Walsh.
Hell yeah, Congo's Dylan Walsh.
Congo's Dylan Walsh. That role.
Spider-Man 2's Dylan Walsh.
Is he in Spidey too?
Isn't he Dr. Connors? Or am I thinking somebody else?
No, that's Dylan Baker.
Dylan Baker. Yeah. I'm getting Walsh and Baker.
Yeah, confused. Dylan Walsh is Dylan Walsh the Stepfather remake as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So this guy's directed like TV and direct-to-video family fare for like a long time. He's directed at least 4 Baby Geniuses sequels that I can see. At least 1 Cats and Dogs sequel. Like he directed episodes of That's So Raven. Like this is the world he works in. He directed this movie from the late 90s, Punks, Punks. Like,
oh my god, it's that dude.
It's that dude. The guy who directed this movie.
And my wife's a big fan of that movie.
So, but I am also noticing that he directed what appears to be an unsold pilot, or maybe it was a TV special, as this says, called Roseanne Barr Rabbi Shumley Show, which is from the year following her exit from what became the Connors. So, yeah, that's Sean McNamara, I think.
Good lord. Well, this is
directing the unsold 2019 Roseanne Barr pilot.
This is a far cry from Punks.
Indeed, right?
That at least had whimsy and fun. This is.
I mean, like, I think he's got the. He directed Cody the Robo Sapien. I think he has the whimsy, but I think he still hates cats in an upsetting way, and also just working with Roseanne in 2019.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to be like the guy that's judging for stuff like that, but I mean, like, I wouldn't have wanted to work with Roseanne before that, but like, definitely not after.
Yeah.
And I want to be friends with people who would have done the same. I don't know, man. Sean McNamara, I'm sure, is a nice dude.
Which, the Nip Tuck guy or the director?
No, I don't think the Nip Tuck character is a nice dude. I think the Nip Tuck character is really one of the stupidest, most selfish characters I've ever seen on television.
Oh.
That show is so dumb. I watched it throughout its whole run. It's so dumb.
You're talking to someone who sat through all of Entourage, so no judgment here.
There you go. Yeah, I think it's a similar kind of, special but really dumb.
Yep. Sometimes you just want to see Gary Busey play himself and bully Kevin Dillon into buying his paintings.
Yeah. And man, like in 2003, when Nip Tuck premiered, there were not other shows on basic cable that, like, in the opening, one of the main characters is doing cocaine off of a prostitute's bare ass. That stuff wasn't on basic cable in 2003.
Oh, wasn't? What channel was that on?
FX.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this guy's going to be Dr. Doom.
Yeah, he is.
You saw Dr. Doom's ass all the time on that show, man. Julian McMahon had a good ass. He was working out.
It's the only way for the MCU to go back. Give us Doom's ass, cowards.
I would watch that movie.
Hell yeah.
There's an Andy Warhol film called Taylor Mead's Ass, which is a single static shot of the ass of poet Taylor Mead, pantsless. It's 90 minutes. I would take that. I would take Dr. Doom's ass, the Warhol 90-minute just butt shot with like the flowing cape and the butt beneath it.
I like it because the title says what it is.
Yeah.
Ass
I think
of
without
Doom.
knowing it,
All right.
Mike Judge also made that a joke in Idiocracy.
Yes.
Right? Wasn't there like Fart the movie or Butt the movie or something within Idiocracy?
I think you're right.
Sounds right.
In a while.
Ass.
Anyway.
Major motion picture.
Yeah.
Speaking of asses, we got
Yeah.
some contractions.
And you people, you're all
Yes.
astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
Yeah. And so, and of course, I did not load up the stuff correctly. So,
I'm looking at it.
somebody vamp while I do this.
So I'm gonna be very. I think I know who one of these contractions is. The other one I'm not so sure, but I'm interested to find out. Oh, that's a good vamp, right? That was a good
Great
party.
vamping.
Do you want me to edit that out, Trav? Do you want me to go back and fix that, or do you want to just leave that in there?
No, keep going.
Leave it.
Yeah.
I
Be a
approve.
vampire.
Raw dog it, baby. Raw dog that dead air.
What did I do this weekend? Oh, I was at a tiki convention called Tiki Oasis with Angela, and I
Very
drank
nice.
a lot.
I wish I drank a lot because I saw Trap.
It was a total blast. The venue I've most frequently seen burlesque is a conference room in a hotel in San Diego.
Oh, nice.
You're talking about the film Burlesque with Cher and Christina Aguilera.
Christina, I almost said Christina Applegate.
Alas.
Seen the most screenings there. Okay, I've got it loaded. Here are our
Okay.
contractions. And we'll go with like the more obscure one first. And that is on the right. We've got Polina Soldatova, also known as Polina Nikolai, and Polina Stringini. She is an actress who, in this movie, she played the woman, one of the flashback women who were stalked and murdered by young Jon Voight.
Oh.
And she
Wow.
was an Enterprise bridge officer in Star Trek Beyond. And that's the best pick you can get of her.
Nice.
Well researched, Trav. Excellent job.
And here on the left is got a Mr. Muska. And Muska is not a Star Trek character. Muska is a character that Will Sasso played in the Orville, which I say counts because that's as Star Trek as it gets, is the Orville.
Yeah.
I still need to watch that show.
Yeah. Muska is the proprietor of the restaurant Muska's aboard the USS Orville, so he's like the Guinan or the Quark of the series.
Nice.
You're looking at him, he reminds me of Quark. Is he in the whole run? Or is he just like recurring throughout the whole run?
He's in 2 episodes total, so yeah.
That's not enough of Quark. Or Guinan.
Yeah.
I loved Guinan.
There's a really good Norm Macdonald character that's in the Orville.
I gotta watch this show.
But yeah, I highly recommend.
Well researched,
Orville,
Trav.
everybody.
Deep cuts.
Yeah.
Deep cuts on contractions this week.
Yeah. Does this mean we should technically count Galaxy Quest then as well?
I do. Galaxy Quest is on my list of favorite Star Trek films.
It is. I don't remember if I told the story or not. But before COVID started, I did a comedy debate show where I debated Star Trek versus Star Wars. And my winning argument was that the second best Star Trek movie was Galaxy Quest, and all the others were worse after that.
I mean, it's a valid argument.
100%. Wrath of Khan, Galaxy Quest, then the rest.
Oh, see, my ranking would be Voyage Home, Galaxy Quest, and then Wrath of Khan and the rest.
Oh. What can I say? I'm a big Ricardo Montalban head from way back.
Yeah. He's got the best cleavage in all of Star Trek.
Yeah, he does.
Truly.
Give me them Khan titties.
It is unbelievable. It is one of the most overtly sexual things in all of Star Trek.
I mean, what are you going to do if you're a genetically engineered super being? Not show your tits?
And,
Touché.
you know, just like they milk those tits well into the new series because there are people that are still related to Khan Noonien Singh in the new Star Trek shows.
Hell yeah. Spreading that seed all across the galaxy.
All that space seed.
Spreading that space seed.
All right.
Seed in
Because that was the first
space.
episode, right? That was the Space Seed was his first appearance?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. I know 4 Star Trek things. Nailed it.
Bam.
Probably no more than 4. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any further thoughts on Dangerous Game: The Legacy Murders?
No, just my initial assessment that it's dumb and bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any more fun kills. The Will Sasso through the table was my highlight. And then,
I will say, Trap ended up not being the worst movie I saw this week because we watched this. So
I don't even know what Trap is. What is Trap?
I don't
it's the
want to
new
know.
Shyamalan movie where
Oh,
they
that's
completely
right.
blow the premise in the trailer where they set
I'm
up a
not
whole
watching the
concert to
trailer.
trap a serial killer.
I will watch it. I
Yeah.
need to see M. Night Shyamalan movies. I don't want to know the premise. I'll just watch it. But
that's
know
fair.
it's terrible.
I don't
I will
watch
know
trailers.
it's terrible.
That's fair. Oh, I'm just saying they literally blow that in the trailer.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
You know that going into the movie. It's like,
No, I
oh,
don't.
the only interesting thing about this was shown in the trailer.
I would be up for doing a really serious M. Night Shyamalan podcast at some point.
I cannot
because
promise I would be very serious about it.
I have a lot of thoughts. I've read books. I read a fucking like full book about the making of Lady in the Water, written by a film journalist who was there for a lot of the production. Because of my need to understand how this guy can sometimes make something so otherworldly and cool in its way, but when he doesn't, he fails so unbelievably hard. It fascinates me.
I think it's because after the first few successes, he probably stopped taking studio notes or getting them at all. and now it's entirely because he finances his own movies, so he gets final cut no matter what.
Oh. He's
The
like,
thing I think I took away from his more recent output is he works better within restriction. You know,
I think so too. I didn't hate Knock at the Cabin. Like, I think that's one of
right.
the better ones he's done in the last couple of years.
On the
But
whole,
like,
that movie is really fucking good, except for when it does the Shyamalan shit, in which I think what I wrote in my review is my eyes rolled so far back in my head that I am still blind to this day.
yep. Like, my biggest gripe with Knock at the Cabin is that they changed it from the book ending, which I think hits a lot harder and I think is a much better direction story-wise. But like,
Uh,
Old sucked, then Knock at the Cabin, I was like, oh, this is decent, and then it's like, oh no, this bullshit. Just to give you an idea of how on the nose Trap is, without spoiling anything, Haley Mills is in it as an authority figure who's pursuing them. So Haley Mills from The Parent Trap in the
yeah.
movie Trap.
He thinks he's so smart.
He does. I will say he does rip off a split diop, like straight up rips off a De Palma shot at one point, and that's actually probably the best part in the movie. Like it looks like he just ripped off the split diopter shot from Blowout with Travolta and the owl.
Nice. I love that shot.
Yeah, it looks really great. But yeah, that's probably the nicest thing I can say about it beyond the hotness is in it.
Glass was one of the biggest disappointments I've ever had at the movie theater.
Oh
that was
boy.
that movie was on like Phantom Menace, Rise of Skywalker levels of like, the fuck did I just watch? After how much I loved Split and how encouraged I was by like The Visit, which I thought was good but not great, and then Split, which I thought was, oh fuck, did you find your magic again? And then nope.
He's very good at being like, hey, remember when I do good? And then dashing it almost immediately.
It has to just be McAvoy. I can't imagine that if anybody else had done that movie.
Seeing what little bit I've seen of Split and the dialogue from all of the non-McAvoy characters, I think that movie got by largely on McAvoy's performance.
Split is great. Old is, I couldn't tell if what I thought was insane about Old was intentional, it's brilliant. If it wasn't, which is more likely, it is one of the most misguided things that ever cost that much money.
Yeah.
What about Afterbirth?
I have to admit, I'm not a completist and I have not yet seen After Earth, but I would if we did the podcast.
Yeah, I've kept away from it for a while. This one is the first time I've been in a theater for a Shyamalan film, and the entire audience understood that we were watching a comedy, intentional or not.
That's nice. That's a bonus, at least.
Yeah.
Travis, I remember when Emily and I had a podcast on the radio in summer of 2008, and you went to see The Happening one day when we were doing a show, and you kept leaving the theater to give us real-time reviews of the film of The Happening as it was happening.
Yeah, I was hoping I would be able to do it like while the movie was like in front of me, because it seemed like I was going to be the only one there, but then some old guy showed up.
Yeah,
I didn't want to intrude upon his experience of that film.
Did you make sure to run out and text them immediately after the line, hot dogs get a bad rap?
Maybe. But like, I think, I don't know if I like dropped that, like, I think I just saw Brian O'Halloran. Because
I don't remember. I don't think
definitely,
you mentioned it on the call.
Yeah, probably not on the call, but I did track even in that first show. I'm like, is that who I think it is?
Same. The first time I saw the movie, I'm like, is that Dante's chin? What the fuck is going on here? For those who don't know, Brian O'Halloran, who plays Dante in Clerks and all the Kevin Smith movies, is in The Happening. He drives a car that John Leguizamo is trying to get away in, but we only see his chin in the rearview mirror.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we ever see of him. It's so weird. Anyway, what are we watching next week?
Oh, yeah. Next week, we are going to be watching 1987's Deadly Prey.
Yeah.
Sorry, cat
Crickets.
printing. Yeah, 1987's Deadly Prey, an American International Pictures release that we're actually going to double feature because it has a sequel from 2013.
Yeah. We're not doing like a full double feature show, but the
2
following
successive
week
shows.
we are going to be seeing if the legacy sequel was worth the wait.
And the legacy sequel is made by the same director, starring the same guy. Pretty sure they're brothers.
Yeah.
Interesting. When did Deadliest Prey come out? How much later was that after the original?
It's 2013, so 26 years.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we're gonna see if it's like Glass, to its Unbreakable.
But maybe it's split. Probably not. But Deadly Prey is on Tubi for free.
Tubi.
And there's no commercial release that looks better than the version that I'm sure is on Tubi, so just watch it there.
That tracks.
Yeah, so
cool.
We'll check this out. Yeah. You guys got anything else you want to chat about on the shoe?
No, that's all I got to say about the movie.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. All right. I'll start up everything, and then so while we wait to have a deadly prayer, Dustin, where can people find more of you?
You can find me on Instagram, Letterboxd, Twitter, Blue Sky, at Dustin Meadows. My YouTube is Dustin Meadows Comedy. A lot of my music, my shorts, some other stuff lives on there. I'm always looking for composing work, so if you need a short or a feature scored, you need a theme for your podcast or whatever, just hit me up on my socials. Trying to buy a car, so give me that freelance stuff, baby.
Yeah.
I can vouch, he's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What's up, Trev?
And how about you, Alex?
Letterboxd.com/Alex Brunel. Maybe I'll start using Instagram again to post Polaroids that I take someday. It's also my name. I don't know. Otherwise, listen to this podcast.
Yeah, do it. And you can find me at Travis Fishburne on Letterboxd and such. You can find the show as well, keeping a list of all the movies that we're covering. And,
you gotta update that.
Yeah, I do have to update that. Follow me as we venture into Herzogust. I dive deeper into Herzog.
That'll be exciting for you.
Yeah, and
have you seen very many Herzog movies?
I have, but then I stopped when I realized I could do Herzogust and I could watch more. And
awesome.
So most of his stuff is actually on Tubi as well.
Hell yeah.
Interesting.
I think I've only seen 2 of his movies.
Oh man, I've seen not that many, but I feel like if I've seen 10, I've seen 10 different genres of film directed by Werner Herzog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but mine's pretty disparate. I've seen Grizzly Man and I've seen Aguirre, The Wrath of God.
Yeah.
Those are
Have
2
you
key
seen
films for sure.
Port of Call, New Orleans?
I have not.
Oh,
and I need
interesting.
Oh man, that movie. I wish that movie was a most deadly.
Most Dangerous Game.
Most Dangerous Game. Is that this show? Right. Yeah.
Yes.
I wish that was that movie because like, as unhinged as Nick Cage is in that movie, and he is truly unhinged. Val Kilmer has like 10% of the screen time as Cage, and delivers like 5 times as insane a performance.
Amazing.
It's nuts.
I frequently forget that Herzog did that one.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a weird move. But yeah. You can follow me on that. And yeah, so until next week, stay alive and survive.